Buongiorno, Guelfi Firenze. Good morning. How are you?
Buongiorno.
So I am delighted to be here today with three members of the Guelfi Firenze family. So good morning to Edoardo Cammi, who is the VP or the general manager of the team, to Frankie Stola. Good morning.
Morning.
And of course, to Gianluca Santini.
Good morning.
So I'm really delighted to be here today, and I want to thank you for letting us come here to your beautiful stadium and to sit down and talk about the history of this wonderful team that I've been following. Actually, I've been in Florence for about 25 years. And so I've known about you for a long time. When I was at Stanford, we had a relationship. I remember sending interns here every now and again, but I never really had the chance to come and meet you. And so I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with the idea of the fact that such a great American football team exists here in Florence, is so successful, is so followed, and does so much for the community. And I'm also just thrilled to be sitting here today with three new friends, and one of whom happens to be the son of one of my oldest friends, but we'll get to that in a second, Frankie. So I was hoping we could just dive right in, and I'd like to start with you, Edoardo, because I was hoping you could trace for us a little bit of the history of the team, because it is unusual to have an American football team in Florence. So,
Okay. First of all, thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having us. So the history of the team is interesting. Football in Florence started around the 1985, and there have been two teams before Guelfi. One is the Apaches Firenze, and then the Renegades. The Renegades that actually were the Renegades from the Apaches. And they create this new team. After both teams collapsed in the late 90s, the former players of both teams started to play around Tuscany, in Bologna, in Grosseto, in the cities nearby Florence, more or less, because 2-3 hours to travel. And after a couple of years that they were traveling around Italy to play football, they decided to create their own team. And they're still the president is still the same, has been a player for more than 20 years, has been the president since 2000. And actually they created a team in the rest stop, Cantagallo.
I know it. That's a famous
Florence and Bologna. And it was actually, they have a piece of paper. They said, no way we are going to continue to go back and forth from Bologna. We're going to do our own team in Florence. And they started from scratch, talking about colors, names, and logos.
I love this. And you, how does a Florentine, I think as an American, it's very strange for us because football is really American, and you think of Italy, you think of soccer. A city like Florence, I think you also think of other sports because Florence distinguishes itself for especially aquatic sports, swimming, things like that, volleyball. Florence is an interesting city from a sports point of view. But American football, how did that, how did you come into this world? It's unusual. You were a player.
Yeah, me personally, I started playing in 2005, but I started to follow football around 2000 because of my brother that is 11 years older than me, and he studied abroad 1 year in the US, and he came back with the Madden video game from the US. I started to play the video game, and
that was it.
I started to follow football, watch some college football, watch some NFL, and I have no idea that there was a team in Florence. I found a flyer around, I found the flyer in an ice cream place near the track and field stadium in Campo di Marte,
right?
The Ridolfi Stadium, that the Guelfi were playing games there.
That's right. Now I remember.
Since, from, let's say, 2005 to 2012, before we start playing games here. And so that's why I knew of the team.
I love this story. So tell us a little bit about here. because we're sitting at your stadium. We're sitting at the Guelfi Stadium. Tell me a little bit about where we are right now, because one of the things that I think was most impressive for me coming here today was just seeing how much of a big part of this neighborhood Guelfi Firenze is. And I love that because you drive up and it's this beautiful space full of fields. You see people everywhere. I know that kids probably take so much advantage of this. I mean, this is a really beautiful thing you've created for the community. So I want you to talk a little bit about where we are right now and how Guelfi fits into the community, because I think we all got that sense just like walking in here today. It's like, wow, this really feels so special. It feels special.
It's special for us. We made some huge change and some huge steps since when I started playing football. The previous field was just a practice field, but was like totally different. Like we barely have lights. And actually, right now we have some problem with the lights too. But
it happens.
Yeah, but so I mean, football in Italy. Right now, we are at the top level, and it's kind of a semi-pro league. We were in the past in the second division, and it's an after work type of deal for everyone, for players, for coaches, for staff members. And actually, the previous management, that are still big friend of mine, I can say brothers, they were like really getting after the assessore allo sport at the time, that was Eugenio Gianni.
Oh, yeah.
And they were sitting in front of his office asking for a home.
Give us a field. Give us a stadium, Gianni.
Asking for a field where we can play. And Eugenio was like the one that gave us some trust.
Yeah, good for him.
And decided to pull the trigger and create and sign for this football/rugby field. And at the time that the project started, we have a management of the facility with 2 other rugby teams.
Okay.
But the other 2 rugby teams, they have their own field. For us, it was our home. Yeah. We were treated like our home, and the project was awesome, but like some of the project done by the city has some flaws. And after a few years of management, we said like, it's either we give them the key back or we're gonna bankrupt, or we're gonna invest on the facility, because like this, it was a grass, let's say, /mud field, and no bar, no restaurant, no gym, nothing other than the lockers.
No.
So we have no any sort of income and so we decided with a bit of craziness to invest on this field, and with our work from the previous management, we create a piece of the time, you know. Right now we have we manage this facility from the city of Florence, and we give the management of the other activities to professional, like restaurant manager, gym manager. We now have the paddle, pickleball.
I saw. Oh, there is pickleball.
It's not pickleball,
but it could. But
could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
I saw it. I mean, it's a huge complex, and you can see it. I think it's so important that you're talking about this because you made, and then I want you to finish this story, but you made that leap from the team was sort of something that was just you were kind of surviving, and seeing you today. And you can see, the sign from the road, and you really have a presence. And I think that must feel really good for you, right? After all your hard work, no?
It is 100%, but it's still
I know.
Really tough to take care of a football team in Italy. Like a lot of expenses, a lot of things to manage, especially as of an after-work job for most of the management, most of the coaches. So no matter how much time a coach gives to the team, that maybe is more than his actual job, but it's still not
never
paid.
Enough.
So it's complicated, let's say.
It is complicated. Well, I want to turn things over to our 2 players here today, and I actually want to start with you. Yeah, because I want to stay, because I do want to stay for a second in this realm of, how does a Roman, play end up playing American football in Florence? And I'm just so intrigued by your story, Gianluca. And we were speaking a little earlier on the field and off, the microphones. But tell me about your relationship with American football and how you came to Florence.
Okay, I'm Santini Gianluca. I'm from one little city close Rome, and I played rugby for a few years, and but I was so bored. And one time in the university, I met one guy, and he said me, "Okay, you have to try play football." And I tried in one practice with one team close Rome, named Viterbo, is another city.
Yeah.
And after 2 years, I loved this sport, and I moved to Terni for playing with them.
Oh.
And after 2 years, Edo called me.
So you didn't play when you were young. I mean, you started at college.
I started play football in 23, when I was in 23. I played rugby before.
Okay, because that's unusual too. I'm sure Frankie was playing as soon as he could walk, probably. So it's even more unusual.
Yeah.
Right? So right?
I discovered this sport, and I love this sport.
You must be very talented too. That's what my point being. Like, it's usually people play for a long time before they get to that level.
It's so hard in Italy. They discover the new sport. In Italy, it's just soccer. And this is a very big point for me, because I was so big in the primary school, and I said my mom, I can't play soccer, mom. I'm very big for playing soccer. And my mom said, okay, but we have this chance, and we have this opportunity, and if you want to do sport, you can play soccer. And after I discovered the rugby, but I said the rugby was boring for me. And after the rugby, I discovered the football, and I love this sport. And Edo gave me this opportunity for play with Florence, and I worked a lot for play with them. And now I'm a captain, and I'm very proud for play with purple jersey, and it's my best choice in the life.
So tell me a little more about football, American football in Italy. So when you tell people what you do, what's the reaction?
I don't know, because not a lot of person know the American football, because it's very hard sport. The rules is very strange for us. For the soccer, it's so different. For me too. Okay.
Yeah, I've already told you I don't know anything about football, so that's why RJ's here helping me today.
A lot of person said me, the football is the rugby. It's the same sport, and I say, no, please, no, thank you. It's not good for my soul. Yeah. You don't have to say this. And some person like this. Because it's the new word, and the person are happy when the new words, the new land. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy because for talk about football, because I can explain the new things in them lives.
Okay.
And in fact, for this, I do anti-bullying classing.
Oh,
and
nice.
Anti-cyberbullying classing around on the Florence. Yeah.
Good for you. That's wonderful.
Because I want to help the guys for this, for the information and I won't say just you can't play just the soccer. If you are tall, if you are short, if you are fast, if you are big, you can find your position in the world, in this field.
Yeah.
Because you could are important.
Yeah.
In our team.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it's my big project, because when I was child was a problem because I was big and I can't play soccer.
Yeah. No, but I think this is great what you're doing, and I think ultimately sports are that great I don't know. I'm a huge believer
Yeah.
in the power of a sports team, especially when young people are around,
Yes, exactly.
especially when they're at-risk young people. And so when I see people like you, I get very happy because I realize that these kids maybe have a chance at something,
chance,
a
yeah.
chance, and everyone deserves that. So thank you for doing that. I think it's fundamental. I mean, you guys are role models for a lot of people, and so it's really nice that you're out there working with the community. So I really appreciate that. So Frankie, you're the American here, and the American who came to play American football in Italy is fascinating to me. This is fascinating. We often hear about, obviously, U.S. players going, to play. We know that there are teams, I assume, all over Europe, probably all over the world, but people don't necessarily think like, oh, Florence, Italy, American football, American, football player. So how has that been?
It's been awesome. I mean, I've been playing football in Europe pretty much since I graduated college. Yeah, I mean, basically, it all started with COVID, honestly, because I withdrew from school the fall of 2020 because, obviously of COVID and everything, and
Yeah.
our season was canceled. And me and a few guys from my class were like, hey, we're really good. Let's, delay our lives for a few months and, all graduate in December instead of May and play one more, season
yeah.
together. And, it was great. We, won a championship, won undefeated and everything, and it was all worth it. But what that did was I ended up graduating in December, and all the teams in Europe start in the spring. So all of a sudden I was like, hey, I'm not done scoring touchdowns. Like I want to,
Yeah.
I still want to do that.
Right.
And there are these teams in Europe that give me an opportunity to travel and to live in places that, I've only seen on a map and in pictures. And so I kind of just seized the opportunity. I signed with a team in Germany. And from there, I just kind of fell in love with joining a new team and, being a part of like their season. It was just a lot of fun living in different places and meeting new people. And that's kind of how I wanted to spend, my early 20s. And, all of a sudden I'm 26 and I'm living in Florence and still playing football. So I can't really complain about anything. I was
No.
turned out.
Sounds like a dream.
Yeah.
How did he find
pretty,
you?
Pretty cool.
How did he bring you from Germany?
Yeah, so
Because Edoardo, I'm sure, called you at a certain point. The same way he called Gianluca.
tampering.
Tampering?
Tampering, yeah. No, I have to say that I've been, because actually for IFL rule, Italian rule, we're allowed to have 3 import players, so 3 American players, but one of them needs to be Italian American. That's Frankie.
Well, you just need a dual.
He has a dual
passport.
citizenship, right?
But if I happen to be American,
Right.
oops.
Italian / something though, they're dual, but and in my experience in the last few years has been really challenging from our side to make it happen, to help a guy to have his own passport. And so I was a little skeptical with Frankie at first because he was doing everything by himself.
And he
so
did
I
it.
was like, oh, he's never gonna make it.
He did
And
it.
He did it.
It's very impressive. If you can do all that by yourself,
Yeah.
all that paperwork,
Yeah.
you can do it. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
convinced that you can do pretty much anything,
He
Frankie.
did it, and
Really, it's so hard.
We get in contact for the previous season, but bureaucracy didn't help us because he was still in.
I was fighting battles in New York.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
I know that embassy.
we talk again in the summer, and that's it.
It was a lot easier because I was living in Umbria at the time.
Right.
So it was like, hey,
I'm here.
I'll come visit.
I'm around the corner, and then that was it. It was
Yeah.
a done deal. All the
Yeah.
bureaucracy, it just went away, and
Yeah.
you started playing this past fall. So it hasn't been that long,
Yeah.
but it's been a very successful season. Who wants to talk a little bit about your season so far? We're at the end of it.
You want to take a shot? I want you to
Captain,
take a shot.
Capitano,
Talk about our season.
you want to talk about how your season has been? Has he
How's the
been a
season
good addition to
Yeah,
the team?
yeah, it's good, the
okay.
season, Frankie.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk about me. How's our season going?
Yeah. The season now we have 7-0 and
You're
we
undefeated.
won every match, and but we still play so hard.
Yeah.
We still practice so hard. We still work so hard because we have another three matches, and every match is different, no? You know.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to work hard in these weeks, and we have to win these 3 matches, and we have to win the semifinal for go to Toledo and win this ring.
Okay.
We won't do this, just this.
You have to, yes.
It's our job.
You have to. This is going to happen. We know it's going to happen. You have to do it. It's going to happen. And you're undefeated and you're going, it's a great season. It's been a great season.
Yeah.
So we're feeling really positive, you know, because end of the
Yeah.
you're going to Ohio. It's all good.
Yeah.
So
We have been burned in the last 2 seasons, so we
Yeah,
are taking
We're-
when
Yeah, they're
Oh.
used to winning, doing very well in the regular season here. There's just been last couple years, couple playoff failures, and we've been knocking on the door and the door's locked, and
Okay.
we just got to start kicking or something. We got to
Okay.
beat the door down. I don't know what it takes, but
well, so who are you playing now? Who are your last 3 games against?
3 games are with some good teams.
Yeah.
Probably, I guess 2 of the 3 teams that we play, maybe they were going to be in the playoff.
Okay.
But the way the season is structured, there are 2 divisions with 6 teams.
Okay.
And so in the playoff, the teams from the 2 division match each other.
Okay.
So we are gonna face the winner between the second team of the other division and the third of our, and most likely the second of the other division is gonna face us
Okay.
here.
And this is in June.
semifinal.
This is now.
Yeah.
Like this is okay.
The semifinal will be the 14th of June, 5 p.m. here.
Here. Okay.
Ooh,
Who's it
5.
against?
we'll see.
We'll see.
see.
Oh, who are the?
So what we're doing is if we continue winning, we'll secure a first round bye in the
Okay.
playoffs. So the second and third seed from a different part, like they'll play each other in the playoffs, and the winner will
Okay.
come visit us. Ideally, if we are able to host a semifinal game, which
It will
Ideally.
either be
Gearing towards that.
the team from Parma Panthers,
The Parma Panthers.
Ancona
talking about them before.
Dolphins, and Legnano Frogs.
The Lignano Frogs, and who was the one before? The
Ancona Dolphins.
Ancona Dolphins.
Pretty fun names.
They are fun names. The Frogs.
we got a lot
the
of
Dolphins.
fun names in this
Yeah,
league.
your name is great, by the
Bologna
way.
Warriors is
Have you heard of Playing for Pizza book?
Yes, I know the book, and I know that you guys have. Do you have some? At some point, Frankie's mom sent me something about Playing for Pizza. Is that your Instagram account or something? I saw it somewhere. Playing for Pizza. What is
I was
that?
probably thinking about that Instagram account.
I saw something,
There
and
is
then I
an
didn't have
Instagram
time.
account that is managed by a journalist, sport journalist. It's called We Play for Pizza.
Exactly. That's what I saw.
It's taken by the book, but the book is from John Grisham, and
Mm-hmm.
actually is located in Parma, so with the
Yeah.
Parma Panthers, and is basically telling the story of Italian football.
I've read it. I've actually read it, and so that's sort of part of your. I mean, the We Play for Pizza. You were saying.
Yeah, no, and I mean that basically the story is like most of the guys plays just because they love the game, plays for the passion of the game. So some of the guys in the team are paid, some are reimbursed, but all of them, they play just because they love
The passion.
football. And actually, a funny story about the book. In the book, there is told the story of this streak that has been broken by a player, and the player that broke the streak is actually an Italian American that now is investing in our league, and is the guy in charge of bringing the Italian ball to the U.S. in Toledo.
I love this. This is great. Nice.
He's now became a famous entrepreneur in construction and real estate investment in Ohio, Toledo.
Good.
His name is Nick Hyde, and is giving back
Which is what?
quite a bit to
Which is really nice, and which shows, you know,
the
and
AFL.
thankfully there are people like that. So, I mean, how has the sport changed since you started and since Guelfi was founded 25 years ago? How do you think American football has grown, or how has it changed here in Florence?
So it's changed a lot in terms of follow of the team, in terms of visibility. The sport is a little bit more known all around Italy. Teams are growing, and I think overall teams and federation and the league are doing a good job to get known. Still growing. I think also the level of the game is better. You see like better athletes. The overall level is quite good,
Higher, yeah.
especially for the AFL. And I mean, I think that in general, in all the aspect has grown a lot.
Okay. I have a question for you guys again. So tell me a little bit about your fans. Tell me maybe Frankie, we could start with you, just sort of comparing it to your experiences, both, at other teams in Europe, but also when you're, college football, et cetera, in the States. What are the fans like? Who comes to your games? And what's the vibe like at the stadium?
So I think the biggest difference is, I'll start with the fact that European fans tend to be a little louder. I think they're just better at being fans in general.
Yeah.
Now in college, yeah, sure, I would have more fans at games, especially like rivalry games and stuff, but there's a lot of passion in the fans in the stands, definitely. I think the biggest difference that Guelfi has is probably the noise box with Ugo.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that.
He's just a live DJ at the game, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, how much fun.
Yeah. He's very much making his presence known during the game.
See, like everyone's getting
playing,
super excited.
He's getting the crowd going.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
making them do the wave. He's playing music. He's playing music the whole time, yelling, saying what's going on, like informing the fans what's going on also. So it makes for a fun atmosphere, especially, obviously when we're playing well and the crowd's into it and Ugo's rolling and, it makes us a fun environment to play in. It's definitely different, I think, for opposing teams to come to a stadium like this. Teams don't have their players up on the walls of the stadium when they're coming in. It's a whole place that's got Guelfi. Guelfi is plastered all over the stadium. It's a different atmosphere in Italy for sure.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pride. I was talking to Gianluca earlier just about like playing here and being in Florence, like, and feeling the pride of that, and playing for a team that's in a city that has maybe not so much history in terms of American football, but what Florence is, and that being a real sort of, I think, like an honor for you, to be playing for a city that's so important in just like people's minds, all over the world. And I also just want to quickly touch on just the friendship between Florence and the U.S. I think it's important to underscore this. Florence has always been a city of foreigners, always. Foreigners have always come here and will continue to come. And it's nice that these relationships, these cultural contaminations, if you will, exist. It's sort of, I think, a really nice way of demonstrating that sort of the friendship, I think, that exists between, I think, Florence and the United States have a very particular relationship. And I don't know how many other cities in Italy have that close a relationship. If you just think about the student population, how many U.S. students come through Florence every year, it's a lot. And then think about the permanent population as well, And so I think the Guelfi is also just a really nice example of how international Florence is. And I really like the fact that you are at once, the local home team that everyone loves, but at the same time, I think you really are a symbol of that internationality that is so Florentine. So talk about that with me, Gianluca, a little. Like, how do you feel playing here compared to, for example, when you were playing down in Viterbo or when you were playing rugby?
Yeah. Play here is very it's very beautiful for me, and I feel very proud for play for Florence. And Frankie said, when you come to see our match, we are the big family with the fans. The fans drink the beer, and we have the music. We dance all together after the match if we win.
Amazing. I'm coming.
Yeah, this year for the 7th time for now, and it's a very honor, and because for the everything, yeah, you know, we created a big family, and this is you can't explain, capito? You can't understand this if you never come to see us.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, also listening to you, and this is something I've observed, you know, because if we get back to the fact that, for example, in Italy, soccer is so dominant, but it's not the only sport, obviously, you know, and in a city like Florence, you do have a lot of options, you know, you have many, many options. But I guess I think back to like going to soccer games, like kids' soccer games here, and people get so upset, you know, and like really mean. And, you know, in other sports, that doesn't happen. And so I would hear, in other words, like if you go to, you know, a rugby game or if you go to a tennis match or something, people aren't the way they are at soccer games. I'm talking about little kids, you know, and their parents yelling. It's kind of awful here. People take it very seriously. So if I look at football as a choice that I would happily embrace for a child, because I don't think there's that mentality that like, because football is so unusual here, whereas soccer has all these cultural expectations. I'm just curious, as an Italian, and this is just me, like, how has that been for, like, are people just so surprised when you tell them what you do?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right. But yeah, so surprised, but
Same reaction every time.
What's your reaction?
yeah, it's football. I don't know the team. Yeah, and we work for this.
Yeah.
For the information and
Taxi drivers, no Guelfi.
They do?
Everyone I've talked to knows Guelfi.
The taxi drivers?
Yes.
Okay.
Taxi drivers.
All right.
You know why? Because one of their base pointer is like 500 meters from here.
Okay, that's why. Okay. They drive. Well,
I see it when I drive by.
Well, you're so visible.
Yeah.
So
We're
people are
on
like,
the highway. Yeah.
yeah, I saw it from the highway
I
yesterday.
should start pointing that out. We should start pointing that out to people. You know when
Exactly.
you drive in right there, you look to your left.
And you're here. So people are like, Florence, football, what?
yeah, well, but we try the new information because in the Florence the person like the purple and the giglio, the our flower.
Yeah.
And a lot of person know us for this, for the purple jersey and for the flower.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
see.
you've been around for 25 years. You're on Instagram. Everyone I talk to knows you. Maybe they haven't been to a game, but they know that there is this football team in Florence. You have a long legacy. There was just a big article about you and the Florentine. This is your 25th year. We're celebrating your 25th year. Do you have anything special planned? Are you having a big party? What are you doing?
We have a championship.
That's the main goal. Before that, we are really trying to create a big event for the semifinal, like have some side event with that. We really want to
Also
have
the national anthem.
Yep.
That'll get people.
We'll have national anthem. We have like a DJ set at the end of the game. We'll have a dance school coming from the halftime show.
Fun. This
So
is
we're really
great.
trying to promote and get an home field advantage
Yeah.
for real for the
Absolutely.
semifinal. So
Absolutely.
it happened in a weekend that is gonna be packed of event because in the same weekend there is the Firenze Rock.
Oh, yeah.
We actually picked the day that there is no concert. So we'll
Okay.
try to promote within people that stay from Thursday to Sunday.
And there will be a bunch of people
There
because
will
people
be.
usually come for the whole weekend.
There is in the same weekend the two Calcio Storico game, but
There's a lot of.
think
It's okay. There's a lot of people in
Yeah.
Florence. I
Yeah,
wouldn't worry
so
about it. I think you'll be
think
fine.
we'll get some
We're going to make sure that
fans.
there'll be a lot of people there. Don't worry about it. I'm curious, Edoardo, as we're talking with two of your players, but I don't know much about football, as I've already told you. But how many players do you have?
First team or in general?
General, like well, you can give me like the total number and then how they're divided. I'm just curious because I have no idea how many
the
people.
first team is around 60 players.
That's a ton. Is that normal?
Yeah.
It's normal.
Yeah, because we have special teams, we have defense, offense,
Okay.
and a lot of injuries. Yeah.
All right.
The big.
And a lot of
Sorry.
injuries. So, okay, so
you
now
need
you need
60.
60.
You need the guys.
Like
Change.
a college
The next
team,
one.
even like Division 3, you're talking like almost 100 guys, like
Really?
if not more.
Yeah. Art?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. This
Yeah.
is like a whole
No, it's
new
well.
universe
There's 11
for me.
people on the field at all times. You need a lot of different people for certain teams, and just it adds up. It adds up.
So you have more or less.
We have these 60 players with
Okay.
the first team. Then we have several junior teams. So U21, U18, U15, and U12.
Okay.
And we're still promoting because the junior season goes in the fall. So opposite of the first team season. And mainly because all the teams in Italy have the same staff and coaching staff, then they are able to rotate between
Right.
first team and junior teams.
Wow.
And let's say we have a total of 150 players. In the organization, there will be 200 people in general between coaches, staff members, helper, volunteers, like, you know.
Wow. Okay. And are most of your team members coming from the youth league?
And in terms of management and stuff.
No, I mean even just like, for example.
Oh, the team,
Yeah.
the team players. Yeah.
Or is it
As a
it's a
team,
mix?
we have a good amount of kids coming from the youth teams, but we also have around 20 guys coming from different city in Italy.
Okay.
And they come just for the weekend. So we practice on Wednesday, Friday night, and Saturday morning.
Okay.
And they are coming Friday afternoon, spend the night in Florence after practice again on Saturday, and then come back home.
Wow.
So we have people driving 3-4 hours.
You
to
guys are
come.
really I mean that's a lot of dedication. No, it's a lot of dedication. And I'm just curious because I again don't understand much about football. Also don't really know how the leagues work here. Can you just like explain that to me one more time? So there's one professional football league or two?
So
in
there
Italy?
There are three
Sorry.
first team
Okay.
division. First, second, and third division actually are called IFL,
Okay.
IFL2, and the third one is called the 9 Football League because it's a 9v9 football.
And that would be
And-
like a Serie A B C or something?
It's the
okay,
exact
just
same with like
Yeah.
teams
Okay.
that relegated maybe or promoted.
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, just because I want to make sure I
Yeah.
understand.
And
Okay.
there are 12 teams in Serie A, IFL, 12 teams in the IFL2, and I think around 30 in the third division.
It's a lot. No?
Yeah, plus in Italy you have all the flag football team, all the junior teams. It's about more than 100 teams spread all over Italy.
I don't think anyone knows this. Like, I really feel like I'm releasing very precious information today, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have team in Sicily, team in Turin, in Naples, wherever.
I love this. And I've always been fascinated by this because I remember, being in Italy now for so long, I've always been amazed when I found sports that I thought were unusual. For example, years ago, I was contacted by a woman who had a women's lacrosse team in Prato. And I was like, I love this. And I sort of did a minimal amount of research. And I always find it fascinating that certain cities have like really unusual sports because somebody had a personal story. Or, there was a coach who had spent, for example, like your brother, right? He had gone abroad and, American football became important to him. This woman had spent time in the States and became obsessed with lacrosse, and she founded a team. And I always appreciated that about Italy. I thought that was always so wonderful, like how somebody's singular passion could really change the lives of people. And I think that's exactly what's happening here and what's been happening here at Guelfi Firenze for the past 25 years. And, how somebody's personal story then just became so many other people's stories.
And I think that football, at least more than other sport, but sports in general, it's a bridge between different reality, like with everything. And we have seen a lot of American players or coaches or like even helper that has been around the team even before we were in the IFL. So we are in the Serie A and the IFL since 2016. But before we had several guys helping out the team just because they love the game, they want to be around the team.
Yeah.
Like, so it's
nice.
amazing.
It's amazing. So hard questions for the three of you.
That's why we're here.
The hard questions. You ready, Frankie? Do you want to start?
I'm so ready.
What does football mean to you?
Oh, damn it.
You thought I was going to give you an easier one than that.
Look, I think, like, I've been playing in pads. I mean, I was playing flag before that. I was watching before that. I think 2008, I was in pads playing football. I was maybe 9 years old. So it's just been a huge part of my life. It's kind of shaped who I am. I mean, it got me working out. It became the group of people I was friends with growing up. Like, kind of just like shapes. It definitely shapes who you are as a person, especially in America, playing American football. Yeah. Obviously. I mean, words like accountability, responsibility, discipline, hard work, respect. Those are all things you learn playing sports, playing football in particular. Yeah, I mean, those words mean more to me, I think, because of football. Yeah, how's that?
I love
that's
that.
A good answer.
That's a really good answer.
I told you I was ready.
That was really good. And it was not one of the questions on here. Yeah. What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
University. I tell you, the football met me in one underground field close to Viterbo. Yeah.
And what does it mean to you, like today, when you think about football and what your life is like?
See. Now.
Yeah.
Now for me is the big project, and now for me is almost everything, because I spend a lot of my time for the football, on the gym, on the field with my teammates, for the help the team, for the school, for the information.
It's everything.
It's
everything. And you, Edoardo?
I think everything is a good answer for me too. I mean, I made my my life decision around football. That probably is even more unusual.
Pretty indicative. Yeah.
In Italy, like I played 18 years, and I've been working with the team since 2010, trying to help the team first. I'd quit some easier decisions, some easier job just because I love sport and I wanted to create something that I want to be proud of. But more than that, I think that, like Frankie said, relationship, like, I don't know in general, but I think that I can count on few peoples in life. You really can count on 5, 6, 10 maximum. And I say out of these 5, 6 people, 95% are out of football. You build relationship that goes after the field. Like my best man is been a coach, has been a friend. Is the one that I call if I have a problem or I have something to talk about. And in general, like these are the relationships that last. Even a big friend that lives in Ohio, that he has been in Florence for 7 years, and built a really good relationship with him. We don't talk that often right now, but every time we talk, even once every 3 months, it's like I met him the day before. So that's. I think the relationship and what football creates between people outside of the football field, it's really important.
And I think that shows. I think you feel definitely that sense of community. So as we're coming to the end of the podcast, I want to ask each of you another difficult question, not as difficult though. And then I want to ask you, Edoardo, a little bit about the future of the team. But I want to start with the two of you. It's not an easy question, and I apologize for this, but in as much as you can sort of imagine, Frankie, what kind of legacy would you like to leave here in Florence? You're loving my questions. You're like, oh, she wrote totally different questions. And now at the end of the podcast, she's like pulling them out. Why? Because I want to know. I mean, you're in an interesting position. And so what do you want people to say about Frankie Stola?
It's a very different situation for me. It's like compared to the, like homegrown guys on the team. Like you're an import, like you're an American import brought in to, you're being paid and supported like in that city to be like the best player on the team, pretty much. And you're put in a situation where, it's a different country, and everyone on the team already, they know each other. They've known each other for so many years. And they get a new group of guys every year that are just going to be like good at football. And, the better teams are better at like welcoming them and becoming friends with them, like so long as they're there. And you never really know, like, if some guys you see again, some guys re-sign, some guys, go to different teams, different leagues, different countries, or they just, they retire, whatever it is. Everybody's got their own path, but you're only here for all you're only here for a few months, and it's like, okay, like it's time to be fully invested in this team and like, make relationships with all the guys and just, see how far this team can go. Like everybody remembers the good teams, obviously. You remember your best years, and you want this year to be like the best year Guelfi's ever had, because this is the year that I'm with them.
That should be the legacy, yeah. I feel like that could be the legacy. No?
I'm working on it.
You're working on it. What about you, Gianluca? What legacy would you like to leave here at the Guelfi?
Yeah, I like to be here. I like live here, especially for the Guelfi, because Florence is a great city, but with the normal job, it's nothing. The world is very big, and I'm here for the Guelfi, and I want to work for the Guelfi when I will be so old than now. I won't play. I won't play for another 1, 2, 3 years. I don't know.
Okay.
And but I won't live on Florence for help this family for grown up.
I love that. I love that. And I think
we don't have limits.
Yeah.
Just the sky, you know.
Yes,
That's right.
That's right. The
That's
sky
right.
is the limit. And I think that's a wonderful attitude to have. But I really can't, it's hard for people who are not in this room right now to feel like how much honest and sincere love the three of you have for this team and for this sport. And it's a very moving thing. I feel very moved by it. Since we are at the end, I would like to ask a final question of you, Edoardo. So what is next for the Guelfi? What's in store for the future?
Domenica alle 15.
Domenica alle 15, but the episode is coming out a little later than that.
For
but,
me.
right.
I want to, first of all, thank you again.
Well,
and
thank you.
Thank Frankie. But more than anything, I want to thank Gianluca, because I did it bad to him, because his English is getting better and better, but he's great.
He's great.
He was
He's
great.
great.
But,
You're great.
He don't believe in me. I'm accustomed.
I believe in you. Capitano.
I want him because he represents what Guelfi is from a player, staff member standpoint. So
100%.
we wanted to have someone that really represents us.
Yeah.
He was my first choice too, just so that's on the table.
And what's next for Guelfi? It's hard for me because I'm really focused on Sunday, and so obviously we need to program and think about the future. But right now, I only see the next few steps, because our goal is being in Toledo and raise that trophy and be what we think we can be in the AFL. Yeah. But in general, like we really want to continue to grow as far as team, help kids, help people in the community, and especially kids, because that's what we do. Like we are trying to grow the junior teams, because the players that start earlier, like U13, U12 player, then stay with the team, and they really finds more opportunity in the future, because football helped them to be better players, but more than that, better man, better student, more discipline. So I really think that we, in some way, we help these kids growing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wish you the best of luck. I mean, I'm
Thank you.
Really rooting for you for this season, and for your first 25 years, which I think have been so impressive. And I hope you keep growing. I want to encourage, we'll put all of your information in the show notes. I really want to encourage people to come to the games, to cheer you on, to follow you on Instagram. And I hope that we'll be able to talk again in the future, and we'll see how things went in Ohio and how things went with the season, and how you're celebrating your 25 years of Guelfi Firenze. So I want to thank you not only for coming on the podcast today, but really for everything you do for our community. I can't say it enough. I'm so personally appreciative of realities like this. They bring such honor to our city. So I really thank you for that, for being such exemplary Florentines, and for spreading your wonderful message through your love of football. Grazie mille.
Grazie.